Go.
Good evening. This is Joe Joyner, owner of Progressive Auction Company. We're going to be going through the Wavebid dashboard tonight in order for us to learn how to use the dashboard, and then from there we'll be going on to learn how to enter an auction in Wavebid.
All right. So when you first log on to Wavebid, once you get your username and password and log on, this is the screen you will be met with. This is your auction dashboard. This is sort of like your home screen, but for Wavebid. So whenever you get lost, you can find the My Dashboard button right here. So we can go ahead and click on that, and it'll take us back to our dashboard where we can figure out where we're working. So the way we organize all the different auctions is we actually organize them by date. So if your auction has not started yet, it will be in the upcoming tab. If your auction is currently running, it will be in the active tab. And then if it's completed, you can find it in the completed tab. And then after 90 days, you can actually find it in the auction vault. So these will be, auctions that were completed more than 90 days ago. And then you can always filter the results if you want certain results. Otherwise, you can just pull up all the different auctions. The search feature here, this is an item level search. So if you want to see what sort of price you sold a particular lot for, you can actually search for it by lot. So if I type in, for example, lot, here are all the items that have lot somewhere in the description or the title. And then if you actually clerk them using Wavebid, it'll say things like the selling price and the selling date and stuff like that. The inventory is basically an auction without clerking or anything like that. It is just a place for you to catalog lots and then move them to an auction later. We will get to that in a later video. So one more time, just to get back just a recap. To get back to the dashboard, you press My Dashboard right up here on the gray menu bar, and then you can find your auctions by navigating through upcoming, active, completed, and auction vault. Do you have any questions, Joe?
No, not at this point in time.
Perfect. All right, so now we are going to go over the process of creating an auction. So in order to, start building up your lots, putting in photos and descriptions, you have to create the workspace for us to work in. So in order to create a new auction, you have to go to the dashboard. Then you have to find this gavel icon in the top right. When you hover over it, it will say New Auction, and that's how we create a brand new auction. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then here is the auction settings page. This is where you set up a lot of the settings that will carry you through your entire auction. So first thing we're going to do is just name the auction. So we're going to make this one Joe's Training Auction. Okay, and now we are going to go over, here is the address. This is normally the, location of the auction. If it's an online only auction, sometimes you'll do things like pickup locations and stuff like that. But for right now, I'm just going to check this box that says use company address, but normally you'd put in the actual address for the auction.
Okay.
The next thing we are going to go over is estimates. You are not restricted to what you estimate. This is purely a tool to help you track your progress. So, we could put 30 lots as a guess. We could do 300 lots, or we could do one lot. It's just a tool to help you know where you're at in your cataloging process. And then after that, you put in an estimate for your videos. You could put 1, you could put 0, and you're not restricted to whatever you put in. The next part of creating an auction is selecting a coordinator. The coordinator is the person who is in charge of this auction. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Joe for the coordinator of this auction. Joe will always have access to this auction because he is the coordinator. The next thing here is this checkbox that says restrict to coordinator and admins. Whenever this box is checked, the only people who can see this auction are either admins on the account or the coordinators. So if you want everyone in your company to be able to see it, you're going to want to go ahead and uncheck that box. But for now, we are going to, we'll just uncheck that. Next.
Let me ask you a question there.
Yep.
All right. I talked to Larry and him today, and I told them that all they need is a login name and a password to come into my account. So they're probably going to be getting in touch with you to do that. Can I set one for them, or do they have to set it themselves?
You can set it for them, and you can actually customize what they have access to.
Well, for instance, now if I want them to see this auction that I'm doing here, I uncheck that, and everyone that works in my company will see the auction, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Okay. The next section here is visibility. Well, actually, I forgot one. It's lock auction. Basically, sometimes you'll get done with an auction, all the sales are done, all your invoices are paid out, and you don't want anyone coming in and messing with anything. And so what you can actually do is lock the auction, and that will prevent people from, the only people who can come in and unlock it is an admin. So that's just a way for you to, secure the auction, just make sure no one accidentally, alters some of your data.
Okay.
So here we have visibility. And basically what happens with visibility here is it turns on a lot of the marketing features. We will get into that in a later video. But basically you'll see here when we set it to public, it'll actually generate a URL here, and that is your public Wavebid catalog. So that is a catalog you can post up to Facebook or wherever else you want, just to advertise the auction. You also have the option of secret key protected. What that does is it allows you to put a password lock on your auction, because sometimes you'll have to preview the auction to like the consignor or a bank, and they get to see it early before the rest of the public does. So then you could put in a password like 1234, and then they will need to present that password in order to access the auction. Just look at it.
Okay.
But for now, I'll just set it to public. The next section here is auction software. So if you ever take advantage of certain online auction, providers, we actually support the ability to automatically export it to your account on, whatever platform you're using. Depending on the platform, of course, but the main one you'll be sticking with is Universal Auctions.
So that's what I'll normally put in there is a universal auction. I don't put auction zip?
Correct. Universal, it's pretty much the same thing, just because we don't automatically send to auction zip.
Okay.
The actual auction, like all your different lots for bidding.
Okay.
And so between those two, it actually is the same thing. I'm not sure why there is an auction. Yeah, I don't even think there is an auction zip on here.
No, it's got everything but.
Yep, and you actually select that later, and we will go over that. But you will just leave that in Universal. So that will be either a live-only auction, so no online bidding at all, or, auction zip auctions as well.
Okay.
Okay. And then, for your auction, you got to choose your start date. And this is actually fairly important just because this will determine where the auction shows up on your dashboard. So, let's say it starts on the 23rd at 8 a.m. And so, you set that, and then if it is an online only auction, you'll probably set an end date too. Um, but if it's a simulcast auction, so you have online bidding and live bidding at the same time, there's no real say when that'll be done. So you can just leave it with a start date. You don't need to put an end date.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have time zone. That's not really something to worry about. It'll just default to Eastern. If you're in a different time zone, you're welcome to hit the drop down and switch it to whatever you have to switch it to.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing that we are going to go over is the auction attributes here. And so what this is this is a way to declutter, the cataloging process. Because not every auction you'll have a reserve price, but some auctions you will. So basically right now there would be no reserve prices visible. We wouldn't even be able to enter one in if we wanted to. But as soon as I check the box that says any reserve prices, that will allow me to add a reserve price to any lot that I want to. And it actually goes the same thing with starting bids. So if I wanted starting bids, I would check that box. So this is just a way for you to make things as simple as you want them to be. Okay? And so as soon as I hit save here, that will actually save our auction. And here is that URL that we could put on Facebook. Right now we don't have any lots, so this would not be a very exciting catalog. And you can actually get back here from the dashboard. So if we go to the dashboard and we see, in the upcoming tab, Joe's training auction showed up. To get back here, I just go to the auction menu and then edit settings. And then I could come in and change something like the address or the start date. I could change whatever I have to make the data correct. And then as soon as I'm done with my changes, I can just hit save, and then we will be on our way.
Okay. One of the things that I don't see on that dashboard, that normally when you're setting up an auction, you have a consignor or somebody that I have, the ones I'm getting ready to sign up where I've got about 16 different properties, they all belong to different people. So how would I set up different assigners? Is that in a later video?
No, we can actually cover like the intro to that right now. So whenever you're going to have different consigners on one auction, so you'll have one lot going to one consignor, one lot going to a different consignor, what you're going to do is go back to the settings page and then check the box that says assign sellers to lots. And so what that allows us to do is, tell the system, hey, lot 1 goes to Joe, he's the seller, lot 2 goes to Jeremy, and so forth. So as soon as I check that box, I'll be able to enter in a different seller for each and every lot.
When does that come up? That come up later?
Yep,
when you're
very
doing
soon.
it? Okay.
Okay. So that is how you create an auction in Wavebid. All right, so when it comes to adding photos to your auction, right now in Joe's training auction, we actually have an empty auction. There's nothing in here, nothing to see, but we are actually going to use photos as a way to start creating some lots. So the first tool we have for getting photos organized into the different lots is our barcode system. And the way barcodes work is that these are just generic label types. You can find these at Office Depot, Office Max, anything like that. You just choose the size you want. So I like the way that the Avery 5160s look. That's just the 30 per sheet size. It doesn't really matter what the brand is. It's just the 30 per sheet. And then you can also customize, if you wanted to put, the auction name down here. So, we could put Joe's Test Auction. Okay.
So you say we have to buy these barcodes, or do you provide it on the site?
We generate them. You still have to
y'all
print
generate
them
okay.
on, you still have to print them on something. You could print them on paper if you wanted to and just cut them out. The system is kind of designed for just any generic label. So, you print it on the label paper, then you can stick a label to each lot.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next step is actually just to hit the starting lot. So, I know I have 40 lots I have to catalog. I would just hit 1, and then in the ending lot box, I would put 40. So what that's going to do is generate us 40 barcodes for us to use in the process, which I will explain, and I'll actually show you how it works here in a second. So all I'm going to do is hit Generate PDF, and then it will download the PDF to my computer, and then this is actually what we print out onto the label paper.
Okay.
Okay, and I actually have a set of barcode photos here that I'm going to show you how it works. And so, when we're ready to start working with photos in bulk on one of our auctions, all we got to do is find our auction and then go to this photos section here. And then when we go to upload photos, that's where we can start taking advantage of the barcodes. So the first thing before I show you what a set of photos with barcodes look like, it'll default to barcode as the way it tries to organize the lots. But sometimes you already have them named in some sort of naming mechanism, such as 1-1, 1-2, 2-1. If you already have the photos renamed, we can actually organize them using that and sort them into the correct lots. Otherwise, you are welcome just to manually sort them. But for now, we're going to stick with barcodes so that I can show you what one of these photo sets look like. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. Basically, the way it works is you take a close-up picture of the barcode, then you take all the pictures you want for that lot. So, if I was cataloging this auction, I would come up, I would say, okay, this is lot 6, so I'm going to get a close-up photo of the barcode, then I'm going to take as many photos as I want for that lot. So I could take 20 photos, I could take 1 photo. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be in order. Basically, what you have to do is just take the barcode photo, then all the photos that go to that lot. So then if you see here in this photo set, it then goes to lot 1. So I took a picture of the barcode for lot 1, and then all the photos I wanted for that lot. And you see I just sort of carried that forward throughout the entire thing. And so whenever you're uploading photos, you just highlight the whole batch of photos, and then we'll go ahead and start the upload. While this is uploading, Joe, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Okay. Now you did this. Hopefully, I'm right in what I'm thinking. Regardless of whether the pictures are out of order, like you've got number 6, and then you go to 1, then you go to 5. When they go to check out, if it's under lot number 1, then it will come up regardless of how we put the pictures into the program, right?
Yep, and the way it actually works is we scan each and every picture and we look for barcodes. So as soon as we see a barcode and we read it and it says, okay, that's barcode 6. So
Right.
what we do is we open the door for lot 6. If lot 6 doesn't exist yet, we create it, and then we keep throwing photos into lot 6 until we pick up another barcode.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
as soon as
I
we see
understand that
we
part.
say, okay.
But now we're at the auction and we're clerking, and we're not selling the items in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does it matter?
Oh, no, not at all.
You could go to lot 1, and then you go to lot 25, and then you go to lot 40, then back to 2, and so on and so forth. And as they put it into the computer, it will automatically register itself as to where it goes, right?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And we actually have a sequencing system, because some people, they don't have an order. They just sell whatever's closest.
Right.
When that happens, that's just fine. But if you do know the order ahead of time, we actually have a way of reorganizing everything for you so that they will pop up in order automatically.
Okay.
So we will get more into that, but this is just attaching photos to lots for now. Okay.
And one more question.
Go ahead.
One more question. when you do these photos and you've now created a catalog, those catalogs can be, in other words, people are coming to the auction, they can print their catalog, right, from this?
Correct. We have a system for that too. That's just going to have to wait for another segment.
Oh, okay.
But the
I'm
answer is
getting ahead of the
yes.
game, huh?
Yeah, it's easy to
Evidently, I
verify.
know more than what I think I know, huh?
Yeah. Yep. And so one thing to note here, whenever you're dealing with online auctions, you always have a primary image. And so what that is that's your first image. So it's the little thumbnail that people see, and that's when they decide whether or not they want to click on it and go bid on it. And if you think a different photo represents your lot better, it actually is as simple as dragging and dropping into the correct spot.
Okay.
One other thing is whenever you see this little icon in the bottom right of a photo, that basically means it's a barcode, and we know it's a barcode. So when you put your pictures onto AuctionZip, this isn't actually part of your auction. That's just a delimiter between lots. That's all that is.
Okay.
Okay, so that means it's not part of your auction. And that also means, if you're using the clerking screen or any of the other tools we have, this is not going to show up for all your bidders. Just these photos.
Okay.
Okay, and another cool thing here is we have to actually have some photo editing tools. Whenever you're dealing with online auctions, having a proper photo can be the difference between getting a bid and not. And so, here's just an example of the tools. Whenever we hover on a photo, we have a couple tools. So we can rotate the photo first. So that's always a nice feature. Another one here that I like to highlight is this duplicate photo icon. So when we press on that, it'll create a duplicate photo, and then we can actually open up that duplicate photo in the editor. And this little pencil icon, that is our editor. So when we open it up in the editor, now we can crop this one without ruining our original picture. So, I'm going to add a little contrast, a little brightness, make it nice and dramatic. Hit save, and now I just got another great photo out of the photo I originally had.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have a couple other examples in here. One of them is this photo is turned sideways. All we got to do is come to the rotate icon, and that will adjust itself. Also here, this number 12, this isn't a barcode. This is just supposed to represent a misread barcode. So once in a while, you'll get some dirt on the barcode, or it won't be focused properly, and it'll be too blurry to actually understand that it's a barcode. And when that happens, this is what you're actually going to do. You're going to go to the photo that is the barcode, and then go to this icon right here. What that says is create a new lot or move to an existing lot. When we press that, it'll ask us what lot is it. I can see here, that's supposed to be lot 12. And then I'm going to check this box that says the image is a barcode. So when I do that and press move images, it'll actually recalculate those photos and put them all into the correct lot. So if you see here, lot 12 got moved to the correct location.
Okay.
Okay, another cool thing is, let's say you took a photo out of order. You're right in the middle of lot 13 and, you forgot one for lot 12, and it ended up in lot 13 because you had to go back and take it. All you have to do is just drag and drop into the correct lot.
Okay.
It really is that simple, just dragging and dropping.
Okay.
Okay? So that's, how to upload photos using Wavebid, and then this usually takes place using a digital camera. We also have smartphone apps for Android and iOS, but that's separate from barcodes. Barcodes you use with a digital camera or any type of, actual camera you have.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so if we go back to the preview auction, and so to get to the preview auction, we can either click on this picture or go to auction and preview auction. So when I click on that, you can see it actually created lots for each one of those barcodes that I had.
Okay.
We don't have any information in here yet. but we're going to get to different ways that we can go about filling description, additional description, title, and stuff like that. That
Okay.
will be, during our next segment here.